on ENN Tonight.
Hurricane Milton's impact on Elon families.
Vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance stopped in Greensboro.
And highlights from local election forums.
Those stories and more.
ENN Tonight starts now. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for ENN Tonight. I'm Abigail Hines.
And I'm Abby Gravely.
After last week's devastation from Hurricane Helene, Florida was hit by Milton, a Category 3 hurricane at landfall. ENN's Anjolina Fantaroni has reactions from Elon families about the storms.
12 days after Hurricane Helene ripped through parts of Florida, Hurricane Milton left more damage.
We got about a large storm surge, and we got about 2 to 3 feet of water inside our lower level of our house.
Living in Clearwater Beach, Florida, the Rudolph family evacuated before Milton while their neighborhood filled with water and debris, but was already prepared because of Helene.
With Helene, we lost all 3 of our vehicles. They were completely flooded and totaled, and typically you would want to bring your cars to a higher level, but we were more worried about wind instead of surge. So for Milton, we didn't have any cars.
Their daughter, Jenna, is currently studying abroad in Ireland. She says one of the scariest parts of the hurricanes was hearing about it on the news, all the way across the world.
Like, I was walking into shops and hearing on the radio that they were playing them talking about Milton. And I was like, it's insane to me that I'm like across the ocean in a different country and they're talking about my hometown right now.
Mother Elizabeth Villanova came to Elon and stayed at the inn after her son's flight was canceled due to the storm.
I was looking for a warm shower and a warm meal. We had no way to cook anything. We were operating on a small generator, just powering our refrigerator. So it was an opportunity for me to come up and see Luke, who couldn't come home because his flight was canceled.
Villanova says he was prepared for his flight to be canceled, but wanted to be at home so he could help the community rebuild.
Oh, I feel like I should be there to go and help out these families with
absolutely.
6 to 7 year olds that can't really put up these 10 to 15 pound hurricane aluminum shutters.
Anjolina Fantaroni, ENN Tonight.
Elon News Network will continue to update on the relief of damage left by both hurricanes.
The Trump-Vance campaign made a pit stop 25 minutes away in Greensboro. ENN's Anjolina Fantaroni has reactions from attendees before the rally.
Republican Vice President candidate J.D. Vance spoke at a town hall rally at the Corey Convention Center in Greensboro.
We live in a small community, but we have similar views as the big cities, and we like to be heard.
Attendees say they support the Trump-Vance campaign for many reasons, especially wanting to hear his answers after the debate last month.
Well, I supported Trump in 2020. I'm here to support Vance as well. I was honestly on the fence about Vance in the beginning, but especially with that debate, it kind of sealed me with his, answers.
And 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene, attendees are eager to know what the campaign will do for Western North Carolina.
I do have some questions about the Western North Carolina relief that will hopefully happen a little bit better and with more determination.
Elon News Network tried to get credentials at the media check-in, but was denied entry. Anjolina Fantaroni.
Go Trump!
Go Trump, go Trump, absolutely.
ENN Tonight.
The Trump-Vance campaign will visit Wilmington, North Carolina on Wednesday.
Kamala Harris recently announced that the Biden-Harris administration will give $100 million to repair I-40, the longest interstate highway that runs through western North Carolina. Many parts of I-40 were damaged and are now inaccessible because of Hurricane Helene.
As the election is approaching, the Alamance-Burlington school system and the Alamance County Commissioners are looking to the future by electing a number of board chairs. ENN's Fiona McAllister put together highlights from both forums.
As the ABSS candidate forum came to a close, remarks from all the candidates were taken intently from listeners. ABSS is currently looking to fill 4 spots, with 8 in the race. Out of these 8, only 5 attended the forum. So let's hear what these candidates have to say.
There's been a lot of opportunity, but there's also been a lot to celebrate. And I am seeking a second term on the school board because I'd like to finish that important work and see us move forward.
We need for families to look at Alamance County as a great place to live with the opportunity of a high-functioning school system with ample support from the community.
I want to be a part of the solutions for our next generation, and making sure that we're providing them as many endless opportunities.
I've worn nearly every hat I think you can think of in the education arena for the last 40 years, which I believe makes me uniquely qualified to serve on the board.
Getting better results and having safer schools. And with regard to the amount of money that they get, last year they spent $310 million to educate 21,932 students.
And for filling the Alamance County Board of Commissioners spots, currently 6 are running for the position. As all candidates showed up to the forum, let's hear what they have to say.
And it gives me a chance to really see the urgent need to get ahead of the near 20% growth that we have in Alamance County.
I believe in education. I'd like to see it change and better.
I'm running for this office because we need more people like me in office. People that understand how government decisions affect everyday working people.
All of these experiences working with victims and having to be their warrior makes me really fight hard for you, the citizen of Alamance County.
I'm running to be your advocate and to ensure our county future is both prosperous and fair to all our residents.
Things have improved dramatically, and I plan to, and we also are starting a new renewing.
Fiona McAllister, ENN Tonight.
Voting for all of these seats will take place on Election Day, November 5th.
Coming up, we have a live guest with us to talk through this election season.
And next, I'll have your Phoenix 5-day forecast.
You can take Link Transit to Burlington, Graham, Mebane, Gibsonville, or within Elon. Elon University students and staff can ride Link Transit for free after showing an Elon ID. Blue Route 3 comes by every 90 minutes Monday through Friday with certain hours on Saturdays. And for more information on Link Transit, please call 336-222-5465 or visit the Link Transit website.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone.
Hello.
Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
There's only one thing that will save somebody's life, and that is naloxone nasal spray. Get 911 on the phone, get the emergency responses there on their way.
Once Upon a Time is right now. Escape to the Renaissance Festival, a time-traveling adventure. Saturdays and Sundays, October 5th through November 24th. There's music, comedy, circus entertainments, jousting, nights, the living mermaids, and a feast all rolled into a non-stop outdoor family adventure. Tickets limited while supplies last. Online only at renfestinfo.com.
Hate is loud, but love is the majority.
We saw some cooler weather the past few days over fall break. To see if these temperatures will continue, our Mackenzie Cruz joins us live to give you your Phoenix 5-day forecast. How's it looking, Mackenzie?
Thank you, Abigail. I hope everyone had a nice fall break because we are coming back to campus for some cool fall weather. Now for your Phoenix 5-day forecast. Tonight we'll see a low of 40, a bit breezy and very clear skies. Tomorrow will be partly sunny with a high of 61. Wednesday we'll see a high of 57 with plenty of sunshine and winds at 10 miles an hour. Thursday and Friday we'll see highs in the mid-60s and sunny skies with lows of 35 and 39 respectively. Finally, Saturday will warm up a bit with a high of 70 and more sunshine. Sudden changes in weather can affect our sinus pressure. With this cold front coming through this week, the risk for those symptoms is higher. So make sure you stay hydrated and take a hot shower to relieve any pressure. That's all I have now. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Mackenzie. I'll be sure to carry a sweater with me this week.
Joining us live in studio tonight is Assistant Professor of Journalism, Israel Balderas. We will be talking about the 2024 election season. Professor Balderas, thank you for joining us.
You're very kind. You two are former students of mine from the Global Experience, and you know you can't call me Professor. You got to call me Mr. B. And for this interview, you have to call me Israel. We are colleagues, equal colleagues.
Okay.
All right. Well, Israel, how do you think student engagement in politics has changed, specifically with this election cycle, compared to election cycles you've seen in the past?
I call it the Taylor Swift vote. I think because Taylor Swift has been so open, for example, in who she's supporting in this election, I think that has certainly brought a lot of young voters under 25 into the election process. We saw something like this in 2008 when we had a historic race that involved the first African-American president of the United States. And I think because the opportunity for the first woman to become president is there, a lot of young people see the historic value of this election.
Absolutely. And what strategies would you give students who want to have respectful political discourse with students who might have different viewpoints as them?
Yeah, and certainly the word is civil discourse, right? We want to create an environment that has mutual respect for each one of us. But at the same time, we want to have an exchange of ideas. We want viewpoint diversity. If I'm someone who believes very strongly in pro-choice, right? I'm a father of a 10-year-old girl, and so I support, women's rights. I want to talk to someone who's pro-life because I want to learn from them, not to change their minds, not to change my mind, but to certainly see it from their perspective. And I think in that way, right, I understand what I believe in, and I think that promotes a healthy democracy when you have an exchange of ideas.
Absolutely. And kind of going off of that question, how has Elon's campus supported those peaceful discussions about the election?
I'm a huge fan of what Elon has been doing in this fall election. The university has a committee, called Elections 2024 Committee, and certainly we've been planning a lot of events. I know that I've been planning an event with Professor Jill Auditory from the Poli-Sci department. We call it Alumni Voices, right? These are individuals who are in some way, shape, or form working in the political process. Next Tuesday, we're going to have a former journalism major who now is working for PolitiFact. And so we are bringing guests to come and have these discussions that sometimes it could be a bit nerve-wracking, right, because of the topic. But certainly I really appreciate that Elon is aware that we need to have more of these, what we call deliberate discussions. And there's certainly events leading up to November election.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. That was very insightful.
Oh, this is my pleasure.
Of course. And as Professor Balderas said, next week we will have a speaker series from the Alumni Voices Speakers Series. PolitiFact reporter and alumna Maria Ramirez Uribe. Be sure to tune in to hear more about the election season.
And now a new addition is coming to campus that promotes peace and justice. ENN's Anjolina Fantaroni has the story.
Just behind Linder Hall, a new garden is underway.
I'm so impressed with just the collaboration and how many hearts and hands have gone into making this a thing.
The idea first came to Michener last spring semester.
We all kind of felt like students kept on talking about not having a space kind of on campus for just all the conflict in the world.
Pitched by Michener and other members of Students for Peace and Social Justice, she says this will be a space that students can enjoy for many different reasons.
You can sit and study or meet with a professor. You can even meditate here.
Michener's advisor for SPJ hopes the same as her, that students will use the space to reflect on current issues.
We hope that people will sit on those benches and think about those words. What is peace and what is justice?
Arcaro says that when the idea moved up to administration, they were pleased about it.
Happily, the provost and President Book said, yes, we are excited about investing in a peace garden that will reflect Elon's commitment to global citizenship and peace and justice.
Olive trees, a symbol of peace, are being planted in the garden in the upcoming week. Anjolina Fantaroni, ENN Tonight.
Students for Peace and Justice will join us in the studio during our election show on November 5th.
Up next, join staff member of Elon News Network's Pendulum to talk through the voter guide.
And coming up, local police are using a new tool in their body cam footage.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Once Upon a Time is right now. Escape to the Renaissance Festival, a time-traveling adventure. Saturdays and Sundays, October 5th through November 24th. There's music, comedy, circus entertainments, jousting, nights, the Living Mermaids. Save with discount Renaissance Festival coupons at participating partner locations region-wide. Tickets limited while supplies last. Online only at renfestinfo.com.
Even more than I wanted a gold medal, I wanted a heart of gold, like the mentors who were my balance beams refusing to let me down, and the coaches who spoke out to anything out of bounds, heroes who never stood on podiums, but stood up for me. Every shot I made, give the assist to those who since my youth were referees, ready to blow the whistle and end abuse.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Kudos, Carl. You've always had a need for speed. Racing anything with wheels, speed reading novels in record time, yelling out 3, 2, 1 at every traffic light. But this time, you've taken your power obsession to the next level. By purchasing this electric vehicle, you've given yourself instant torque that blows your old launch times away, which will keep you saying, woo-wee, every time you punch the pedal. Good for your adrenaline, great for the planet. That's the power of EV.
Joining us live tonight is Nia Bedard, news editor at Elon News Network. She's here to talk about the recent voter guide special edition of The Pendulum. Nia, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for having me. So Nia, can you give us a rundown for viewers who might not know what The Pendulum is?
So The Pendulum is our weekly newspaper that we publish every Wednesday. So the week prior, we compile stories to go into the paper, graphics, we design, and we put it all in our paper, and it goes to print Tuesday night, and we distribute it Wednesday morning.
Awesome. So what kind of special work went into this special edition voter guide when compared to maybe an average weekly Pendulum?
A lot of work definitely went into this. Myself, our politics editor, Alexa Citron, and the managing editor of the Pendulum, Avery Sloan, we met to talk about this back in June, hammering out a timeline of when we need candidate profiles done, when we need issue stories done, when we want our interviews done, and having an idea of when we want that to be compiled together back in June. So a lot of work has really gone into this.
Yeah, and what kind of information can students find in the voter guide?
So you can find everything from candidate profiles, from candidates who are running in local elections throughout Alamance County. You can find statewide elections for North Carolina, and then you can also find national races such as the presidential election. In addition to that, we also have a few issue-based stories such as how social media is affecting the election. We have a profile about a freshman who is working on a campaign actively right now, and how gerrymandering hearing will be affecting this election.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Make sure to tune into ENN's election show on November 5th at 7 p.m.
With many students studying abroad during this election season, the Global Education Center says they have prepared students to use absentee ballots. Junior Nick Bowers is studying abroad in the United Kingdom. He says that it's a mix of emotions to not be in the United States during the election, especially when people from the UK ask about how he feels towards politics.
You definitely can't escape it, but it's also kind of darn, I wish I was back home and being able to see it firsthand and sort of instead of being sort of seeing it from a window almost.
Burlington police officers are now using AI in their day-to-day routes. ENN's Fiona McAllister was able to find out how this tool is helping the department.
Yeah, Abigail, Burlington PD are using an artificial intelligence called Trulio, and this is meant to help officers when it comes to their day-to-day patrolling. This AI is serving thousands of hours of body cam footage in stations all across the country and even overseas. Now let's take a look locally into how Burlington is using this new tool. Burlington PD are the first in North Carolina using artificial intelligence in their body cam footage.
And there's a lot of liability around those, not just for the Burlington Police Department, but also for the victims associated with the incidents. So, being able to look at those things at a fingertip quickly helps us.
Saving Burlington PD over $1 million and hours of watching footage, this tool, Trulio, transcribes officers' interactions and highlights key points.
I think that they have found that it's not catch me doing something wrong, it's really catch me do something good. And we get to praise that and reaffirm that behavior with them daily.
And Anthony Tassone, founder of Trulio, says police partnership with this aid is meant to help officers.
I'm really proud of Burlington's courage and their commitment to say, look, we're going to set a standard at this department of professionalism, and behavior below this standard won't be tolerated.
Fiona McAllister, ENN Tonight.
Captain Majors says that he's excited for the future of the department with the help of this tool.
Mayor of Elon, Emily Sharp, says students should learn more about the town they live in. Some rules regarding the town of Elon's land management ordinance state that vehicles can be parked in a driveway, but not a yard, and a permit must be received to put up a fence or perimeter. Sharp says on a recent ride-along with the police department, she saw tarps used as fences, which is a safety hazard.
I think that it's just important that students understand that we want you to have fun, we want you to be safe. And when it comes to safety, there is a concern with the tarps. And again, it's probably drawing more attention to your yard than just having open parties in the backyard.
Mayor Sharp says students should refer to town ordinances to keep up with rules and regulations about living in Elon.
The 2024 First Gen College Celebration is kicking off this Wednesday in Arazu Coffee Shop. The event will start at 6 p.m. and is collaborating with the Odyssey Scholars Program. With an open tab, students will reflect on their own personal first-generation stories through art. First Gen is hosting events all throughout this month and into next.
Coming up, how first responders come together for a bigger issue.
And a night full of forensics at Burlington Beer Works.
You can take Link Transit to Burlington, Graham, Mebane, Gibsonville, or within Elon. Elon University students and staff can ride Link Transit for free after showing an Elon ID. Blue Route 3 comes by every 90 minutes Monday through Friday with certain hours on Saturdays. And for more information on Link Transit, please call 336-222-5465 or visit the Link Transit website.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org. ENN.com/teamup.
There's only one thing that will save somebody's life, and that is naloxone nasal spray. Get 911 on the phone, get the emergency responses there on their way.
Once Upon a Time is right now. Escape to the Renaissance Festival, a time-traveling adventure. Saturdays and Sundays, October 5th through November 24th. There's music, comedy, circus entertainments, jousting, nights, the living mermaids, and a feast all rolled into a non-stop outdoor family adventure. Tickets limited while supplies last. Online only at renfestinfo.com.
Hate is loud, but love is the majority.
One car show in Mebane had a deeper meaning than hot rods and smashing cars. ENN's Nia Bedard has more on the story.
Once Carl Walker retired from the Greensboro Police Department, he knew he had to find a way to occupy his time and adapt to change.
After a spinal cord injury, I knew I had to find some way to get myself out of the house and be more productive, and I built this to be able to carry my chair in and be able to get me out and get me more freedom.
Walker showed off his car at the Team Alpha Critical Incident Diffusion Unit's first annual car show in Mebane.
We're a team of mental health professionals set to respond directly to the scene to help support the first responders' mental health needs.
Starlin says that this event and other Team Alpha events are a way to spread awareness about first responders' mental health.
Mental health as a whole is a white elephant at a party. Nobody wants to dance with them because they don't understand them.
According to Starlin, the rate of suicidal ideation among first responders has increased from 37% to 60% over the past 8 years, with one of Team Alpha's goals being to decrease that number by educating the community.
That's what this is all about, to make our first responders understand that it's okay to not be okay, and to reach out and be there for them when they do.
They teach us to do a job, but they don't teach us how not to do the job. You've seen a lot of trauma and go through it yourself, and at some point you got to deal with that.
This bypasses that because the clinician is right there on scene with the responder, so they already know what they've gone through.
Nia Bedard, ENN Tonight.
Team Alpha will be having their monthly coffee social on October 17th for first responders and active and retired military personnel.
In downtown Burlington, science enthusiasts meet monthly for presentations, with this month focusing on forensic science. Our Evan Cooper has a look into the meeting.
Cells work the DNA in producing.
On the second floor of Burlington Beer Works, locals came to learn more about forensic science at the Tectonic Plates Science Cafe.
So I want to look for a murder weapon. Dun, 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 Exhibit B.
This month's presenter was Wendell Ivory, a forensic biologist from the NC State Crime Lab. Ivory hoped to show what happens at the crime lab with his presentation and audience participation.
So it's really to open the door, move back that curtain to kind of give them a glimpse of what we do on a real level.
Tectonic Plates hosts free monthly presentations, aiming to give understandable and engaging science lessons to the Burlington area. Each month brings a different topic.
The other ones have been on frogs, on hang gliding, it's just all different topics.
Locals say Tectonic Plates is a great way to bring the community together, with people from all backgrounds coming for the presentation.
There's youngsters here, there's older folks, there's folks that have a lot of good background to ask good questions and again get an understanding of some real interesting subjects.
Tectonic Plates meets the second Tuesday of each month from 7 to 8 p.m. Evan Cooper, ENN Tonight.
Well, that's all the news we have for you this evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Head over to our website, elonnewsnetwork.com, for stories, sports, and more.
And make sure to follow us on social media at Elon News Network.
Have a great night, Elon.